Hey everyone, Liam here again. Thanks for tuning into this video. In this one, I'm going to go through the results of the countdown that I ran in 2018 for the top 50 WA songs of all time. Now, this video that I'm creating is kind of in response to the countdown that RTR FM recently ran of their top 45 greatest WA songs to celebrate their 45th video. I've also put out another video where I'm going into a bit of depth there as to why I think that they did a poor job in running that countdown and why I think the results do not look accurate and are basically illegitimate. So I wanted to put my results out here and show that I also ran a countdown on something very similar. I did a top 50 WA songs, not 45 obviously. And I did this in 2018, so a few years before RTR did. I did this at 89.7 FM, a community radio in the northern suburbs of Perth, where I was volunteering at the time. And I felt like we did a pretty good job of trying to publicize it and getting it out there. When we opened it up to the public to vote, it was my goal to get about 1,000 votes. We ended up getting about 780. So I thought it was, pretty good. Didn't quite get to the goal that I had set, but I think 780 votes or thereabouts gave us a pretty accurate result. Now, I don't know how many votes RTR had on their countdown and their vote, but I would probably guess it was probably more than 780, probably more than us. But the thing that RTR did very poorly, and this is what I've gone into in much depth in my other video, which you can check out, which I'll also just have like a little link for it here, is that they just completely botched the nomination list. There were so many WA artists, like obvious WA artists, who were not on their nomination list and were not included in the top 45 WA songs of all time, according to their vote and their listeners. So, I mean, and that included big names like Carnival, Birds of Tokyo, Troye Sivan, Bob Evans, just to name a few. So, in my opinion, I don't think that me and my team at 89.7 got the nomination list 100%. I don't think that was possible. But I think that we did a really good job. I think that, at least I would say we got it to about 90 or 95% as good as we could. There might have been, another 5% of songs that we missed that could have been nominated that people wanted to vote for. But, that was always going to be hard to get it exactly how everyone wanted. But also what I discussed was that I was open to putting songs on the nomination list if people told me about them. So some people commented on Facebook with our post we were putting out saying, what about this song? I'll be like, yep, you know what? I'll put that on. Fine. That's fair enough. But RTR, for whatever reason, didn't do that. They did not read the comments, or they didn't respond to the comments, and they didn't put songs or artists like Carnival on there, like Thamada, their biggest song. They didn't put Birds of Tokyo songs on there for some strange reason, even though people were saying, where are these songs? That's what I want to vote for. They're a WA artist. So, I want to just get this out here also because we did make a news article on the 89.7 website in 2018 about this countdown and this vote and when we aired it on WA Day in 2018. But for whatever reason, this article no longer exists on the internet. I can't find it anymore. It's kind of dissolved into the ether of the web. I'm not sure what's going on now at 89.7 with their IT and website department, but I took a look there recently and it did look like it wasn't really being kept up very well. Their website looks pretty poor at the moment. It was a lot better back in the day when I was there. I don't volunteer there anymore, unfortunately. But anyway, I wanted to get this out on the internet to show people that it's out there, that we did this countdown and this vote. And I want to get the results out there so people can see them and see that this is probably, in my opinion, a slightly more accurate representation of what the top 50 WA songs of all time are, as it was voted by the public. And also it included a more all-encompassing list of nominations. So the other thing I'll let you know is I've got the list in the description section of this YouTube video because I know many of you will just want to see the list, and I totally understand that. I am going to go through in just a little bit of depth as to all of the top 50 WA songs, give you a little thought or a little opinion on each song from me, just to kind of make it a little entertaining. And yeah, if you want to stick around for all that, that'd be much appreciated. But if you like WA music in general, you want to talk more about it, or just hear more about it in general, please subscribe to my channel, and you'll see more WA music chat popping up. All right, let's jump straight into it. I want to get to the bottom of the list, number 50, work my way up to number 1. All right, so number 50 of the countdown of the top 50 WA songs of all time, voted by the general public in 2018. Number 50 is Sweet Jesus Blue Eyes by Chad's Tree, which came out in 1987. So this song kind of came out in that sort of Triffids era of WA music there. It's kind of got that sort of like nostalgic and descriptive of the land feel and vibe to it. A nice song, and I was pleased to see it in the top 50 actually. It gave good representation of 80s music from Western Australia. Okay, number 49, we had Breath by the Rosemary Beads. Now, this song came out in the 90s from a 90s WA band who never really got huge, but as far as I'm aware, had a pretty good following in WA in the 90s. I think they shared the vote and count on their Facebook page, which made them get a few more votes, and was part of the reason why they popped up in the top 50 here. But yeah, good for them for showing up. Okay, number 48 was About You by Cisco. Now, I was really surprised to see this song pop into the top 50. It's not, I don't even think it was a single. I could correct me if I'm wrong there, but it got a lot of votes. It's a popular Cisco song, more popular than what I was aware. If it was a single, it's not one of their more streamed singles, I guess. It's not one of their more known singles, but it had some sort of underground following when we were doing this count, and it showed up at 48 here, and it's one of a couple more Cisco songs to show up. All right, number 47, Baby I'm Getting Better by Gyroscope. So I was really happy to see this song get into the top 50. I was kind of not sure which Gyroscope song would pop up and which one would kind of take the lead. I was following the votes coming in for the month that it ran, and Dr. Doctor was up there for a while too, but eventually this song kind of just pushed through and made its way to the top 50. So it kind of shows, I think this is the biggest Gyroscope song, which, I mean, is kind of up for debate. A lot of people would like to say maybe it's Dr. Doctor, maybe it's Save Forever, or maybe it's Snakeskin, but this one got the most votes, so, I mean, can't argue with that. But yeah, great song, and yeah, I love that it's in the top 50. Okay, number 46 was Sad Girl by The Stems. So another addition to the top 50 from the 80s WA music. The Stems pops in here a few times. Another band who I think was able to share the link to where you could vote on their Facebook page, if I can remember correctly. So for that reason, a fair few Stems songs pop up in here, but I think fairly and legitimately so. They are a big WA band from back in the day, and their music holds up. I mean, it's pretty good, in my opinion. All right, number 45, we have a second entry from Cisco, and it's Too Much Time Together. Yeah, I was really pleased this song popped up. I think it's, in my opinion, probably the best Cisco song. And yeah, 45, I was kind of surprised that it was that low. I thought maybe it would kind of push 30, but nevertheless, made it in there. Okay, number 43 was Better Than by John Butler Trio. Another one here, I was surprised that it didn't get higher, but we'll see further on the list, but there's more representation from John Butler later. But yeah, I guess I would have maybe expected this one to get like in the 20s or the 30s, but nevertheless, it made the list. Number 43, and definitely one of his better songs. Number 42 was Plans by Birds of Tokyo. Now, this is another one kind of similar to Better Than by John Butler, where I thought that it probably could have or should have finished higher. I thought maybe it would have landed around 20 or 30 or even in the teens. And I guess going into the count and the vote, I personally thought that Plans was the most popular Birds of Tokyo song, but I guess I was shown to be wrong with that opinion, as you'll see further on in the count, that another one of their songs places a lot higher. But yeah, my personal favorite Birds of Tokyo song, Plans, and very happy to see it make the list. Okay, number 41, we had Youth by Troye Sivan. Now, I was super pleased to see Troye Sivan make this list because, I mean, he is a massive artist and definitely a WA artist. And he grew up here in Perth. He made his music in a bedroom in Perth, and he's just not as well known to the Perth music scene, I guess. But he's big all over the world. So I was really pleased to see that he got in this list. I think if you open this list up to the whole world and like 1,000 people who lived all over the world had to vote, Troye Sivan would probably be like in the top 10. So cool to see him on the list. Could have been higher, but 41, hey, not complaining. All right, at number 40, we have Thamada by Carnival. Now, I was very happy to see this one pop up. I thought it could have come in a little higher. I will let you know this is the only Carnival song that gets in there, but I'm very glad that metal and prog rock got a representation in this list. And yeah, obviously Ian Kenny, multiple representations through his two bands, so cool to see him in there. 39 was Tarantula by Pendulum. Once again, I just thought it could have gone a little higher, but and I thought there could have been more Pendulum songs, but this was the only one that came in at 39 here. All right, 38, we have For Always by The Stems. One of their multiple songs that come in this list. So, yeah, there's more to come. Already kind of spoken a little bit about them. At 37, we have Twilight Driving by Methyl Ethel. To be honest, I was surprised this song was in here and it got this high. I thought maybe Ubu would be the only Methyl Ethel song, which I'll let you know now, does appear later. But yeah, it was cool to see a couple of Methyl Ethel songs pop up, and I love this song. I think it's well deserved to be in here. 36 was Oh Yeah by End of Fashion. Yeah, really cool to see this one well entrenched in the top 50. I think it's about right. About 35, 36 is good for them. It definitely deserves to be in the top 50. It's just like an epic song, a great pop rock song. 35, we have Fred Astaire by Cisco. Now, kind of surprised that all these Cisco songs popped in here. There was, I guess, a big conglomerate of Cisco fans that voted pretty heavily. But none of the songs got super high. It was just like a bunch here in the second half of the list that made it through. But yeah, well deserved to be in here. 34, we have Make You Mine by The Stems. They just keep popping in here in this list. 33 was Drugs by Ammonia. I was so happy this song made it. I was kind of worried it might not. But yes, it's definitely in there. We need grunge representation. They were the quintessential grunge band from Perth in the 90s, so awesome to see them. 32, we have Half Full Glass of Wine by Tame Impala. Now, I was kind of surprised to see this song get so many votes, but, I mean, it was their first song that broke them, and yeah, it's cool to see people still appreciate it. It's probably one of my favorite Tame songs still to this day, so yeah, cool to have it in there. 31, we have Harpoon by Jebediah. Now, I was definitely expecting it to make this list, but hey, I thought it could have gone a little higher, but maybe about right. I thought maybe 25 was where it would have landed, but 31's still good. Number 30, straight into Bob Evans with Don't You Think It's Time. Same singer, but solo artist here, Kevin Mitchell from Jebediah with his solo stuff. I'm really thankful this song made it in. It definitely needed to be in there. It's a WA song that still, people really recognize to this day. A lot of people connected with when it came out in the mid-2000s. 29, we have Awkward by Cisco, which is their 4th song in here, but the highest placing one. I honestly felt like this song probably should have come in a little higher, and I felt like maybe Cisco had so many that got in that it kind of diluted the strength of their top song. In my opinion, I think Awkward is it should probably place around 15 or 20, but still great that made it in. 28, we've got We Had Love by the Scientists. A few Scientist songs pop in here, which you'll see, and in my opinion, they are well deserved. At 27, we have When You're Lonely by the Boys. Now, this one, I think it's about right. The Boys were probably like the biggest pub rock band that we had in Perth in the 80s, from what I've been told. And this song of theirs has kind of stood the test of time in the underground, if that makes sense. But yeah, I mean, going into this count, I didn't know too much about the Boys, but when the votes started coming in, they were consistently around that 25 mark. So I think that definitely is deserved. 26, we've got Television Addict by the Victims, which is a band that some people don't know, that was basically the beginnings of Hoodoo Gurus. So Dave Faulkner from that band started this little punk outfit in Perth before he moved over east to do the Hoodoo Gurus. This song is still quite remembered by a lot of the music lovers in Perth. A little punk song, which is really cool, and I'm happy it made it in. 25, we've got Beautiful Waste by the Triffids, one of many Triffids songs to come. But yeah, the Triffids, I think, also shared this vote on their Facebook page, which really helped them get a lot of votes. But yeah, they definitely deserve to be in here multiple times, and yeah, Beautiful Waste is a good song. 24, we've got Smokin' Johnny Cash by the Black-Eyed Susans. I think they also shared on the Facebook page, which to me made it probably feel like the reason why they got in this count. I'm not too sure if this song would have made it in if they didn't. I personally, going into this count, was not aware of this song too much. It was nominated, obviously. It was one that the guys who I did the nomination list with made me aware of, and we put it in there. But hey, made it in, deserves to be there if people like it. But yeah, it's in there. 24. 23, we've got Boys Will Be Boys by Stella Donnelly. Now, this one was an interesting one because the song just came out when we were doing this count. It was still quite prevalent in the media at the time with the issues that were going on with sexual assault in Hollywood and things like that with the Me Too movement. So I felt like this song I felt like it made it in because it was still relevant. But when RTR did their count and it came in at 10th, I was like, oh, wow. That shows this song, definitely has stood the test of time so far, and it obviously definitely deserves to be in there. So, yeah, maybe about right there at 20, which is where it landed. 23. 22, we've got Raining Pleasure by the Triffids. Second Triffids song in here. 21, Tears Me in Two by the Stems, making another appearance. 20, we've got Ubu by Methyl Ethel. Now, we had another Methyl Ethel song before, but Ubu comes in at 20, and I think that's about right. Similar to Stella Donnelly, this is about the time it came out when we were doing the count. So it definitely had a little bit of recency bias, but in my opinion, I think this song has stood the test of time. I think it's a great song. And yeah, 20 is about right. 19, we've got From the Sea by Eskimo Joe. Now, I was really surprised to see the lack of Eskimo Joe songs that made this list. We only have this song and one other, which we'll get to later. But I was really pleased that those were the two songs that made it in were the ones that did. I felt like we probably could have seen this song go a little higher than 19. But yeah, the more surprising thing was the fact that a third or even fourth Eski song didn't show up. I think Sweater, which is ironic, being that it's a song that gets a lot of creates a lot of laughter and it's not really like respected now, but people still have like this soft spot for it, which was their first song they brought out. It's kind of a corny little pop song. I think Sweater was pretty close to the 50, but just didn't make it. So that might have been their third. That could have made it, but just didn't. Okay, so next up we've got 18, and it's Let It Happen by Tame Impala. Was definitely expecting it to be in here, and it got in. So yeah, it definitely deserves to be in there. It's an amazing song, super long. I remember I had to kind of cut the song short when we were airing this on the station because we were running out of time, and the song goes for like 7 minutes. So when it's like kind of spacing out at the end, I just had to press the fade out button. But yeah, kind of funny. 17, we have Frantic Romantic by The Scientists, a classic for WA music fans here. I feel like it lands about right. Maybe some people thought it could have gone top 10. It's probably more underground than some people realize, but definitely has a lot of underground following. 16, we've got Don't Fight It by The Panics. I think that's about spot on, if you ask me. Yeah, definitely around 15 or 16, I think was a good spot for them. It's their biggest song, definitely needs to be in there. 15, we've got Jimmy Ricard by Drapht. Now, this song, funnily enough, when the votes first started coming in, had a really strong lead for a while. It was leading the count, and I felt like it was getting to the point where I was going to win. But then once it must have got to about 200 or 300 votes. And then that's when I think people started knowing a little bit more about this count. Pages started sharing it, like the Triffids and the Black-Eyed Susan's pages on Facebook started sharing it. And that's when this started to filter down a bit. But yeah, I think 15 is about right for this song too. And I was surprised that Rapunzel didn't get in. I thought it should probably have got in around 50 or 45. I think it was close, but just missed out. Okay, 14, we've got Zebra by the John Butler Trio. Yeah, probably their best song in my opinion. I was surprised, like I said earlier, that Better Than didn't come in a little bit higher. And also kind of surprised that Better Man didn't make the count. Ocean also had a lot of votes. It got pretty close, which is John Butler's instrumental track on his guitar, which is an awesome song. But yeah, Zebra, I think about 14 is pretty accurate. 13, we've got Heaven by Eurogliders. I think that's pretty spot on as well. Definitely needs to be there, pretty close to that 10 mark, and it made it. So just about right. 12, we've got Elephant by Tame Impala, and this is where we see a lot of Tame songs kind of coming to the front. I think that's about right too. I think, it probably isn't top 10, but just on the edge. 11, we've got Trick of the Light by the Triffids. Another one of their songs, one of their biggest singles. Still a few more to come for them. 10, we've got Leaving Home by Jebediah. Now, I was kind of surprised that this song didn't get higher, to be honest. In my opinion, I feel like this song is a top 5. Like, I feel like this song is probably like the 5th best or thereabouts WA song of all time. I feel like it represents WA culture really well. But 10 is still solid. Number 9, we've got I'm Just a Suburban Boy by Dave Warner. And I was surprised this song got that high, to be honest. I'm not sure if it got shared on Facebook or how it got this high, but I think it definitely deserved to be in the top 50. But yeah, surprised it made it into 10. Okay, number 8, we've got Lanterns by Birds of Tokyo. And yeah, I mean, top 10, yeah, maybe. I was, like I was saying before, surprised that Plans didn't get more votes. I thought Plans was a bigger song than Lanterns, but apparently not. More people voted for Lanterns. I think it's about 10. Around 10 is about right for that song. Number 7, we've got The Less I Know, The Better by Tame Impala. Now, I feel like this song has taken off a little bit more since we did this count, since TikTok and since memes and other things like that. So I feel like this song would probably be closer to 1, 2, or 3 if we were to do this count again now. But 7, yeah, I mean, respectable, but in my opinion, the biggest Tame Impala song, not necessarily my personal favorite, but it's definitely the most noticed Tame Impala song. So I wouldn't be surprised, if it would come in at about 3 if we did this vote again. Number 6, we've got Bury Me Deep in Love by the Triffids. And this is definitely their second biggest song. Sits about right there. I think it probably, is a little high in my opinion. I think it's probably more suited to about 10. But, lots of people voted for Triffids songs. They really dominated the count because it got shared on their Facebook page. But like I said before, deservedly so. They were the slipstream makers for WA music in the 80s. They were the first really to become noticed in the worldwide scene from WA. So definitely deserve to be high. Number 5, we've got Feels Like We Only Go Backwards by Tame Impala. I feel like this song and The Less I Know the Better would have probably swapped by now, but I could definitely still see it being in the top 10 if we did this count again. I think probably about 10 would be right for this. 5 feels a little high, but that's what people voted. Number 4, we have London Still by the Waifs. Now, I didn't know people love this song so much when we started doing this count. I thought it would probably make it, but I didn't think it would get this high. And there was definitely a time there where it was around 2 and 3 as well. But 4, man. Hats off to the Waifs for making such a beautiful song. I thought it would probably come in about 20 or 25 when we were doing it, but it came in at 4th. I saw RTR had it come in pretty high too, so definitely stacks up. Number 3, we have Black Fingernails, Red Wine by Eskimo Joe. Now, this song definitely picked up as the vote count started gaining steam. The more couple hundred people voted, the more consistently it went up the list. It's definitely a song that I think people would have recognized the name of when they scrolled past it and would have been like, oh yeah, I'll vote for that one. I think it definitely deserves to be that high. 3, 4, 2 maybe. It's kind of debatable when you get this high up the list, but I remember when we were doing the count, when we were just kind of coming up with what we thought would be number 1. One of the guys who I was doing it with, Gavin, he was convinced that Black Fingernails Red Wine is number 1. I didn't think so. I thought, maybe like 2 at best, but top 5 maybe. It was definitely up there, and it definitely deserves to be up there. It has turned out to be a big song that's, I guess, stood the test of time. Number 2, we've got At First Sight by The Stems. I think it deserves to be at around 2. It's definitely a quintessential WA song. Stacks up to this day. It's a beautiful song. People recognize it from the movie that it was in. What's that? Escaped my mind. Young Einstein. It was in that movie in the 80s. And like I said before, the Stems, I think, shared this on their Facebook, so they got a lot of votes, and it's part of the reason why they came in at 2nd. But I think deservedly so. Definitely should be top 5, this song. And number 1 is What You Should Expect, Wide Open Road by the Triffids. It's their biggest song. It's their best song, and it's the song that people most recognize when they think about WA music. It should be number 1. It took a little time to get up to number 1, but once they shared it, once the Triffids shared it on, I don't know who's running their Facebook page, but they definitely did share it. And once that happened, it went straight to number 1 and never looked back after that. That's the songs that made it into the top 50 WA songs of all time. A public vote that we ran in 2018 at the community radio station 89.7 FM. We had about 780 people vote, and we aired it on WA Day in 2018, which was, I think, the first Monday of June. And we got a lot of positive responses from this. People liked the count, people liked listening, and I think for the most part, people liked the results too. I think they look pretty accurate. There's a couple of surprises, a couple of songs that people are like, oh, I can't believe this didn't make it. But for the most part, I think this represents the best WA songs. And in my opinion, it represents a better a showing of the best WA songs than the RTR 45 best WA songs that they did, where they failed to nominate countless big names in the WA music scene for I don't know what reason. But yeah, thanks for listening to this and checking it out. Yeah, if you want to see more stuff about WA music, please feel free to subscribe and check out some of my other videos as well if you're interested. And yeah, I'll catch you around. See ya.